Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XYAnime discussion. Today, we've finally gotten into my Pokemon XY Reflections generation so far. Now, if you don't know the story, what happened was I recorded about a 30 to 40 minute video, or maybe even less, and when I stopped it to check, there was no audio whatsoever. 'Cause I'm a moron! Because for some reason, on the few instances of recording from my webcams, the audio is not picked up. Oh no, my webcam that records the video, no, that works just fine, but not the audio from my other webcam, my lesser webcam for the microphone purposes. Finally, let's get into Pokemon XY Reflections. So for these reflections, I don't know how many parts they're going to be, but we're gonna talk about the XY series so far and how I would rate it. There's a lot of good things and some bad things, but anyway, we'll get into it. So, as per usual for these particular reflections, I like to keep Ash as the last one because Ash is usually the character that most has a lot of content to discuss. So we'll save Ash for last, and since Serena has more content to her character, she'll be second to last. So let's talk about Bonnie and Clemont. So anyway, what's really nice about Bonnie and Clemont is that they're actually a really cool brother and sister relationship. You know, we have Bonnie, the cute, adorable little sister, and Clemont, the older brother. And they were introduced in the beginning of the series when Ash wanted to battle the Lumiose gym because Alexa's sister, Viola, was unable to do a gym because she wasn't there. So she told Ash, or Alexa told Ash that there was a gym battle in Lumiose Tower, I guess, or whatever, Prism Tower, whatever you want to call it, and Ash went and tried to battle the gym. When Ash went by, we saw Clemont and Bonnie with their trodden faces, I guess, because of all the history that happened. Then Ash flies out of the tower, and Clemont uses his gadgetry to catch Ash, and that's when they first meet. And they get off on a good footing. Ash and Clemont hit it off. So do Bonnie and Ash, and Pikachu's there. So then Ash decides that he wants to have a battle with Clemont. Okay, well, here's the interesting thing about this, though. I know I should save it for Ash when I talk about him, but the interesting thing, it's weird that Ash would be so willing to go to a gym battle with only Pikachu, but we'll save that for when we talk about Ash. But I just wanted to let you, think on that particular subject a little bit. So anyway, then Team Rocket interferes the battle between Clemont and Ash. Froakie comes out of nowhere, saves them. Froakie gets dangerously injured at the end of the first episode. Ash takes Froakie and Clemont and stuff go to meet Professor Sycamore at Sycamore's lab. And then we get the Garchomp episode, and that's when Clemont and Bonnie introduced. Then they really don't have very much of a role until they return to Lumiose Gym after they get Serena, after Ash's first gym, where they have to actually turn around and go backwards because Grant is on the opposite side of Lumiose City. So then then it's revealed that Clemont is actually the gym leader, and then he reveals that there was a invention of his, Clembot, that he created, and it went horribly destructo on all the characters, basically. Well, not... Okay, it didn't quite do that, but it basically kicked Clemont out of his gym, and Clembot was very, I guess, unfavorable towards the challengers, and Clemont had to fix Clembot a little bit more so that it could actually work as his intended purpose. And then Clemont and Ash make a promise that after Ash gets his 4 badges, that Ash and Clemont would battle. And then they set on so forth on. And then we get quite a few episodes. Well, I neglected to mention that Clemont catches Dedenne for Bonnie after before they returned, or before the gym battle. So sorry about that. Totally spaced. I was trying to think of all the Clemont and Bonnie episodes, and Dedenne's capture kind of escaped my mind. I don't know why. Dedenne is everywhere and is adorable, so I don't know why I would have forgot that, but yeah, Dedenne was caught, bonded with Bonnie. Bonnie wanted it. Clemont caught Dedenne for Bonnie, so Bonnie can take care of it. And Dedenne always stays with Bonnie, and so on and so forth. Alright, fast forward again. So, between the second trip to Lumio City, or at least for Ash, because he was there, and then he left, and then he came back. Between that moment and the time that they returned, there has been quite a bit of episodes. Actually, I almost forgot. Before they left Lumios for the second time, at least for Ash and Clemont, Serena had her own schedule, but I guess technically it would have been the second time she left the city as well. That's when Clemont caught Chespin to round out the starters of Froakie with Ash, Fennekin with Serena, and Chespin with Clemont. Then there's some other, then we fast forward, and there isn't really a whole lot outside of Clemont's inventions. He makes crazy inventions that usually explode or do something that he doesn't intend to, as a running gag within the XY series. We also have the cute running gag with Bonnie trying to get these girls to marry her brother or take care of her brother. I don't know what the dub did, but in the Japanese, she was proposing to these women for Clemont, you know, and then Clemont would get embarrassed and take his APOM arm or whatever and drag her away. You know, something of that nature. So there was quite a few episodes in there with Clemont and Bonnie. I would think Bonnie had more episodes, though, in the very beginning at least, because I can't remember any real Clemont-focused episodes up until he caught Luxio. I'm trying to think. Let's see, I remember the Esper episode. There was also the Flababy episode, but I just can't think of any Clemont-centric episode that happened during that time. Excuse me while I go look at the episodes real quick. Oh, well, okay, well, there was a Clemont-centric episode, or Chespin-related episode, with Delphox, and it was revolving around Chespin's gluttony effect, or not gluttony effect, gluttony personality, and how it eats all the time. But outside of that, there really wasn't a whole lot. It was mostly just Bonnie. I guess I can understand why people think that Chespin really didn't do very much, because it doesn't look like he really did anything here. Well, I don't know what he did in the summer camp arc. I haven't really seen those episodes. I know a lot about them, Tierno, Shauna, and Trevor, and there was that triple battle kind of that they had. But outside, well, there was that Clemont versus Bonnie episode. I really don't know what that episode's really about. Haven't seen every single XY episode, but I do know that it was a sibling battle and it had a meow stick, but I'm not really sure what it was too much about. I don't know if it was really a Clemont-centric episode. I think maybe it was more of a Bonnie episode, but, you know, I guess it counts as both of them or whatever. Then we finally, after a while, we get into the very Clemont-centric episode where he actually captures Luxio. And that was when Clemont was going to school to study on electric Pokemon and his specialty is electric type gym leader or whatever, and he focused on other typings of that nature, and so yeah, that's basically that was pretty Clemont centric episode. So, but looking at this list, I can see that it's primarily about Bonnie actually. Clemont only really helped in terms of his inventions and stuff. But Clemont, now that I see it, just really didn't have all that much focus. Uh, hmm. So then after Clemont caught Luxio, there was another Bonnie episode with Lapras. I actually did see that episode. That was actually a pretty fun episode, actually. I'm kind of sick of all the Lapras showings, and as if the writers are throwing it in my face that we're never going to see Ash's Lapras ever again. Not cool, writers, executive producers, not cool. But anyway, but yeah, the next Clemont-centric episode really wasn't up until the episode where Luxio evolves into Luxray. That was very Clemont-centric episode, as he was struggling to define where he was as a gym leader and wanted to make sure that Ash had an actual gym leader challenge and not just some weak trainer that's been traveling with him along throughout the whole entire region so far. So Clemont left, and then we got a couple of centric focus scenes with Clemont as he was getting ready to train for the gym battle. And then I guess the next big Clemont episode, but it's partially mostly about Ash, was the gym battle. So yeah, that's when Clemont battled Ash. You know, Clemont lost or whatever. So that was pretty much it. I don't think the other episodes that have come out have really been too much about Clemont, as heavy as those other episodes where Clemont revealed that he was the gym leader when he caught Luxio or when Luxray evolved. But yeah, he's just been pretty much a side character. Thinking about it, I'm actually surprised Bonnie seems to have been more focused on than Clemont. I think there was some person on there that said that Clemont hasn't really gotten anything, and I at first disagreed, but looking back, Clemont really hasn't really gotten all that much. So hopefully in the future we'll get some Clemont-centric episodes, even though a lot of people make the joke that Clemont has already fulfilled his role within the anime as a gym leader for Ash to have, so basically Clemont's not going to have very much. But to be fair, I do remember within the I can't remember what episode it was, but Clemont used Bunnelby and Chespin. Was that the Gudra versus Florja? No. Not that episode, but the following episode when Gudra was released. Didn't Clemont use Bunnelby and Chespin to fight off those Pokemon so Ash could go get Pikachu and Dedenne and Wooper? Let me just look here. There's really not much I could say about Bonnie. I mean, I could say a little bit more about Bonnie than Clemont, though. Bonnie's greatest trait within the anime is that she actually I guess, interacts a lot with the group's Pokemon. On some cases, I don't actually like that because I want the trainer to actually interact with the Pokemon a lot more, and I feel like Bonnie kind of takes away from that. But at the same time, it's really nice that it gives Bonnie something to do. She can wash the Pokemon, kind of like in that one episode where Brock had to go get medicine, and Dawn and Ash were by themselves with their Pokemon, and Ash was like washing the Pokemon one by one, and that's around the time that I think Pachirisu got sick or whatever, something of that nature. So Bonnie could do something like that. She can actually brush the Pokemon and she can play with them, and so that's really great. And she often does have a lot of episodes focused on her, which is probably more than we could say about Max from third generation. But at least it seems like they're really trying to give Bonnie some actual character development within the series. Well, not maybe not development, but actual focus within the XY series. So that's always great to see. So I think that pretty much covers Clemont and Bonnie. I can't really think of anything else. As for Bonnie and any other possible Pokemon, I wouldn't want her with any other Pokemon except Dedenne, because honestly, it's not like she really does that much with Dedenne anyway. There have been occasions where Dedenne has actually been there and has been used, but I really wouldn't want another Pokemon that's basically out in every single episode since its capture, and just, you know, being there with Dedenne, and it would just be, it would be, sorry, whoa, what was that? I couldn't even speak. I was stuck there on repeat, that particular syllable there. Sorry. I just can't imagine the writers or executive producers being comfortable with adding another traveling companion that's in every episode, because then they're going to have to write and animate scenes for that particular Pokemon. With all the when you think of third generation, Pikachu was the only traveling Pokemon out there, you know, because May didn't have her own Pokemon that she carried with her. Brock didn't have that, neither did Max, because they didn't give Max anything. So I think it would be just a little too crowded to have another Pokemon, Bonnie, Dedenne, Pikachu, Clemont. It would just basically be too much, basically. And I don't think if Clemont is going to get another Pokemon, if he gets another Pokemon, I don't think it needs to be wasted on Bonnie. Granted, Clemont could still capture 2 Pokemon, but at this point, if Clemont really needs another Pokemon, it should be his Pokemon, not just something that Bonnie will basically get to keep when she turns 10. That will never happen, right? Bonnie's never going to turn 10, but if she hypothetically ever were to turn 10, then Dedenne would be her Pokemon. Alright, let's finish this part by talking about Serena. I don't know how long this part will be, but I'm pretty sure it'll be rather quick for the most part. But anyway, we'll talk about Serena. This will be the last discussion we'll talk about in this episode, or in this particular video. This particular episode. Well, I guess technically it is an episode if you want to look at it like that. Maybe. So anyway, let's talk about Serena now. Serena is honestly one of the more interesting female traveling companions that Ash has ever had. Not counting Bonnie, because Bonnie is a separate entity completely, so adorable and cute. Anyway, let's move on to Serena. So like I said, Serena is, like I said, the more interesting female traveling companion that Ash has ever had. Then we get into Serena. Now, the reason why Serena is the most interesting isn't just because of her personality, or some might call it lack of personality, or lack of personality focus, at least in the beginning of the XY series, was simply because she had a link. She had a connection to Ash prior to the Pokemon series even existed. I mean, sure, it was retconned history, because that's how fans would look at it. I mean, because Serena was in a region that didn't exist at all when Pokemon came out. Wasn't even thought of, so you could technically argue Serena really didn't exist when the Pokemon series. But in terms of the anime history, Serena was the first female traveling companion that knew Ash before Ash even started his journey as a Pokemon trainer. Which is why Serena really does stand out more than any of the other characters, because I feel like with Serena, she had the most reason to actually travel with Ash. All the other ones seemed like they were either forced, or they were mad at Ash and they wanted him to suffer the consequences, I guess, in terms of like Misty, or just because. But Serena actively actively went out to seek Ash because she knew Ash from her past, actively seeked out Ash, and then as a result of that, that's when Serena joined the team as a result of Clemont and Bonnie and Ash asking her to join their group. So I feel like Serena was the one with the most legitimate reason to actually be one of Ash's female traveling companions because she knew Ash from the past, and when she saw Ash on TV and recognized him, she actually wanted to go out and find him. And then I wonder if he remembered her or just to actually meet up. And so I feel like Serena definitely stands out more than any of the other female companions simply because of that connection with Ash. So then basically, well, this isn't about just the connection with Ash and Serena, but anyway, that's just the introduction. I liked how they did it in the beginning. I tried saying this in my other reflections of Sixth Generation so far, and I may have mentioned this previously in other Serena-focused episodes, videos that I've done. Whatever. Yeah, you didn't know I was in Pokemon XYAnime? See, there I am. No, just kidding. It's interesting that the way they handled Serena in the beginning was awesome, was really cool, and differs from a lot of what Pokemon does because they don't really focus on other characters so much if they're not a part of Ash or relating to Ash. I don't even think that outside of particular scenes to set up the episode, I'm not really sure there have been any episodes where they actually cut away from Ash and other people were talking. This isn't counting Team Rocket because they are part of the series, so of course the camera would cut away to them and discuss what they're planning on, just to make sure that it doesn't come out of nowhere for the audiences. You know, they're always coming out of nowhere, but they at least have to try to explain Team Rocket's appearance within an episode. But the thing is, the way that they handled Serena, it was like, if you didn't know Serena was going to be a traveling companion with Ash, you would have to wonder why these scenes of Serena were so focused on. Introduction of Serena was basically Ash looking out of the window and seeing the flying Pokemon, and then it transitioned to it showed a Fennekin flying and pecking Serena awake, and that's when we introduced Serena. And then Serena was just doing things with Rhyhorn and Grace, her mother, and then that's when she saw Ash on TV falling to capture Pikachu, and that's when Mega Blaziken saved Ash, and that's when Serena decided that she was going to go to Lumio City with Professor Oak, or not Oak, sorry, Professor Oak. Well, that's weird. I thought it was Professor Sycamore, but okay. Professor Sycamore in Lumio City to get her Fennekin, and then it wasn't until, what was it, the 5th episode that Serena and Ash actually met. But anyway, back to what I was saying before I had to think of all this, but I thought it would have been interesting, as I was said in possibly other videos, how interesting it would be if Serena and Ash never actually met up. And throughout the whole entire series, it would just be like part of the episode would be about Ash's journey, and the other part would be about Serena's journey, and Serena would go on this journey of herself. And then finally, at the end of the series, she would meet up with Ash. I would have thought that would have been very interesting. I understand why they didn't do that, because that'd be kind of weird to have such a disconnect between Ash and a female companion. So. But at least they actually did meet up. But, you know, I was just saying that it was weird that they did that because they don't usually do that. I mean, sure, May and Dawn didn't exactly were with Ash when they were introduced, but Serena was different because Dawn and May actually met up with Ash within the first 2 or 3 episodes, but Serena didn't meet up with Ash until the 5th episode. And it's not like there was any time that they could have crossed paths, because within the first few episodes, Serena was still in Vanderbilt town with her mother and doing things, and wasn't until Serena went to Lumio City to get her Fennekin that she learned from Professor Sycamore that Ash was heading to Santalune City, and that's when they actually met up. So anyway, to hurry this along because I'm running low on time, Serena gets her Fennekin, and there are a few episodes devoted for her, you know, doing other things. I don't know exactly when she had her real first battle. I think it was against Sean, but anyway, what Serena did during this time was she did other things. You know, she would she made a trainer video with I think Clemont and Bonnie helped her, or maybe not. And for episodes that I don't see, I tend to know just a little bit enough to talk about it. Yeah, Serena really didn't really do very much, even with Fennekin, and it wasn't until Shauna that was introduced that they started introducing Pokemon showcases. That's when we get Serena getting a Pancham. Yeah, after all these irrelevant focused episodes, then we finally get Serena and catching a Pancham after so long, longer than I think any traveling companion. Serena's Pancham was caught within the 47th episode. So yeah, yeah, Pancham. If the trivia is there, um, yes. Pancham's capture makes the longest duration between one of Ash's friends' first and second captures, taking 43 episodes. So yes, Serena took a very long time to capture Pancham, which is interesting. But someone, and I think it was KG Prestige actually, that mentioned that maybe because of Eevee, that they're only giving captures to Serena that actually have the same goal as her. I'm not really sure I quite agree with that, because I think Ash has just outright just caught random Pokemon, and whether or not that he actually cared if they liked to battle or not. Like Goomy really wasn't much of a battler, but just wanted to get stronger. Ash's P-Dove was just trying to do random things, although it was kind of vicious, so maybe Ash caught that. He did capture Palpitoad because it was a battling Pokemon, but anyway. Um, so then Serena went through her Pokemon showcases, shippy moments with Ash as well, I guess, if you're into those sort of things. Then she got into her first Pokemon showcase. She didn't do very well. Fennekin tripped on a ribbon. Serena lost. Serena had a meltdown at the pier, cried. Fennekin and Pancham were trying to cheer her up. Serena changed her design. And I think it was at that moment that Serena really broke out and had a really deep personality within the show. If other fans or whatever could say that Serena really wasn't very much of a character before Pokemon showcases, I would definitely think that after Serena's first Pokemon showcase, that she really, really started to be someone different, especially when she changed her outfit and her design and cut her hair or whatever. I don't know if we ever saw what Grace thought of Serena's new hair design change. I don't know if that was ever brought up or anything, but I'm sure there were a little bit of episodes there. Anyway, so there really isn't much to talk about Serena. Like I said, there isn't really much to talk about other than her history. I think she's an amazing female companion. I'm seeing her grow into her own character that's not... I think in the early beginning of the XY series, people were afraid before Serena had a goal is that Serena would would only exist just for her crush on Ash or her connection with Ash, but I'm glad that they've actually made Serena her own character, her own entity within the show, so she's not just about shipping with Ash or whatever. As for the future of Pokemon XY series, like I've probably said in other videos relating to this, I expect her to continue on with Pokemon showcases. I almost expect her to win her next Pokemon showcase. She may lose, but considering that we're almost at the end of the series, unless they're not going to have Serena winning and trying to be the Kalos Queen, Serena really needs to get on those wins. So I think the next Pokemon Showcase is just going to be between Jessie and Serena, and then Serena's going to win. I think Jessie's actually going to do very well in the next Pokemon Showcases, unlike the first one, and she's going to get really far. But I think Serena is going to ultimately win it, just so that Serena can get ahead of her goal. Because unless they start throwing Pokemon Showcases one after another, and we get another year gap between Ash's last gym, or his second to last gym, and his last gym, between Olympia and Wolfric, and that's when Serena gets all the focus during that particular span of a year, which I hope not. I feel like DP did it best because there was a lot of development for Ash's team. He caught Pokemon, he evolved Pokemon, but I'm not really sure that would be the case here, unless they had a lot of battle tournaments for Ash, but that's not important right now. But anyway, I expect her to win her next Pokemon Showcase. She's expected to get an Eevee really soon. Not going to happen until after the movie. I think it's probably going to be around August that Serena's going to get an Eevee. Like I suggested in the opening video that I discussed the opening change, I think Serena's not with her Pokemon because that's before the movie, but they were foreshadowing that Serena will definitely be getting an Eevee in the future. Just a long ways from now, that it's going to be a while before. There's going to be a good span that by the time the movie ends, they might actually update it even further, and I think that's what they're waiting for. They're going to hint at Eevee, but they're not going to outright put Eevee on the team just yet because the movie hasn't aired yet, and Serena's not getting an Eevee before that. Anyway, hopefully when I edit this a little bit, hopefully we can cut down a lot of this time. But anyway, thank you for watching the first part of Generation 6 Reflections so far. The next part, we'll talk about Ash, and we'll talk about the overview of the series. Expect that one to be pretty long because there's a lot to talk about. And then we'll just move on. Thanks to who's a subscriber of mine. There will also be a couple of other mini discussions coming up soon as well. We're going to talk about Mega Evolutions within the anime. Outside of Ash, like maybe Shota will have a Mega Salamence or a Mega Sceptile or something. And we'll also talk about Alain and his role within the actual main XYAnime series. So, I guess guess that's pretty much it for this part. So thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.